Hi, welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to the countdown to Doctor Who, the 13th Doctor. Pretty excited about her. Today I will be showing you how I make my little crochet TARDIS. This is just two different scales of the same, pretty much the same pattern. The only difference is that I used a different type of yarn for this one than this one. A little thicker yarn, so a bigger hook. And then of course how I did the windows and the details. These are embroidered, and then I used the mesh on this one to make the windows, and I stitched in, I just added the what would be the signs, the black signs with the words police public call box. I worked it into the top there, and on this one I did it separate and added it. So you can decide how you want to do that. Also, these have doors that open, and you can see on the inside there's a mesh there. That just keeps it nice and rigid. Holds its shape the best way that way. So I made these TARDISes to go with the Crocheted Doctor that Pixelated Mushroom has on Ravelry. And here's three of them that I started. They need their details still, so their hair and their eyes. This one needs his tie. And he needs his hat as well. So I got 1 and 4 and 8. And I will leave down in the description box the link to these little doctors. They're super cute, and you can definitely customize them to reflect each incarnation of the Doctor. And then you can actually put them in your TARDIS. The larger scale here, he actually fits in there quite easily. If you make a smaller scale Doctor, see, he fits into the TARDIS there. You can hide out in there. There he is. The smaller scale is just a little bit too small for the Doctor to fit in there. However, he can hang out like that, and that's kind of cute too. If you make a smaller scale Doctor, tighter stitches, smaller yarn, maybe fingerling weight or sport weight, or instead of worsted weight, that'd probably work even better. To make my details, I actually just used some recycled plastic from a toy that I roughed up and with a sandpaper, and then painted on the back. For the windows, I painted it with just white, plain white nail polish, and then on the back of the sign and the pulled open sign and the St. John's ambulance sign, I actually used a kind of a pearly white, just because you can see it and it looks kind of cool. So enough with my rambling. Let's just see what we need. Alright, to begin, you're going to need blue yarn, of course. I'm using Caron Simply Soft in the party line. To make this one, I don't know if you can see the sparkles in that. That's what I used for this one. And then I used a Red Heart Super Saver in blue to make this guy, and black and white. Today, I'm not sure how well the stitches are going to show up using this, so I'm actually going to show you using a brighter blue. This blue is definitely not the right color, but it'll show up better, so I hope you'll forgive me for that. So we'll make our TARDIS out of this lighter shade of blue. I can't remember what the name of it is. The paper tore at the store, and actually tore in such a way that the barcode was, or the title, the name of the color was actually missing. So that didn't help me any. You also need some black and some white and a darker shade of blue. So this one is also Caron Simply Soft. And again, I don't remember the name of it. You just need a TARDIS blue and then a darker blue. And then a white and a black. Okay, so the details are done at the darker blue. And then the sign, the police public call box signs on the 4 sides there are going to be in black. And then the white is just if you want to do the embroidered version of the details. Or you need some recycled plastic or something that is fairly durable to make the little pull to open box sign and the St. John's ambulance sign. So you need those. You're gonna need a hook. I'm sorry, my camera's bouncing there. You're gonna need a hook that will match the size of your yarn. So I'm actually going to be using an H 5.00 millimeter hook today. You're going to need some scissors. You're going to need, you're going to need a, obviously used, embroidery needle or tapestry needle. You can use the little plastic ones if you want. If you're going to be using the plastic, recycled plastic like I did, you probably will want a dusty pencil to draw out and a ruler to draw out so you can get the exact measurements of the windows and the signs here. You can also make the sign, the black signs, and that way you can actually maybe write on them, so they actually, you can actually say the words with it, but you'll need some way to make your signs. And then finally, to make the structure, I have some plastic mesh here. This one is plastic canvas 7 mesh. I believe that is the size of the holes there. This one came from Hobby Lobby, as you can see right there. But you can use whatever mesh you happen to find. And this is the size you need. The measurements are going to depend entirely on your TARDIS itself. So you're going to be measuring it and cutting the mesh to fit the TARDIS. Okay, so gather your stuff and we'll get started. Alright, so I have my yarn here. You're definitely going to want to use TARDIS blue for yours. And I'm using the lighter blue so you can see it. So to start, you're going to start with a slip knot. So wrap the yarn around your 2 fingers, make an X, slip it off your 2 fingers, and just work that working yarn up and pull it like that, and cinch it down. And that's a simple way to make a slip stitch. There's other ways, lots of other tutorials out there. I know Mikey at the Crochet Crowd does his a different way, and so does Bob Wilson. I forget the numbers that go with that, but you make it however is easiest for you. That's just how I make them. So to begin, after the slip stitch, you're going to make chain 13. So to make a chain, you're going to insert your hook into your slip knot at the beginning. You're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull through. That's just a chain 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. I'm sorry, I keep bumping the camera there. I'm not used to using my phone as a camera, but my other camera is not working right now. It needs a new battery. So there's our chain 13, and For row number 1, we're going to single crochet in each of the first 12 chains that we made. So to single crochet, we're going to actually skip the first one, which is kind of looking a little weird anyway. You're going to skip that one and you're going to insert your hook into the next chain. Now a lot of people will just go under that first one, that first loop of the chain there, and do their crochets that way. I actually find that to be a little loose and I don't like the way it looks, so I actually go between the second and the third. So in a chain you'll see 1, 2, and 3 yarn, 1, 2, and 3 yarn strings, and I'm actually going to go between 2 and 3, and it's easier to see if you flip the thing over. Yeah, insert your hook like that. Sorry, it's a little out of focus, too close. Insert your hook between, so you have 2 on the top and 1 on the bottom. You're going to insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, and now you have 2 loops, 1 and 2. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through both loops, just like that. So that's a single crochet. You're going to do it again for another 11 times. So insert your hook between strings 2 and 3. Like I said, I like to turn it over so I can see and make sure I'm not splitting my yarns. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Sorry, that's a little hard to slow down. Yarn over and pull through 2, just like that. So that's 2. Then we'll do it 10 more times. Ready? 2. Let's see, that's number 3. And you'll see I just split it. And fortunately with the crochet you don't have to worry about dropping stitches. If you screw up, just pull your hook out, pull out the stitches that are wrong and redo them. Absolutely no reason to be terrified of doing crochet. So I fixed that, so there you go, number 3, and then 4. To be honest with you, this is probably the most difficult part of anything we're doing today. So yarn over, pull up the loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. And the only reason this is the most difficult is just knowing where you're putting the hook in the chain there. The rest of it's easy. I apologize for the background noise. I got a neighbor that is mowing and my dishwasher is going. I don't know if you can hear those. I also have a very talkative cat today. She's starting to become senile a bit, and where she used to never talk at all, she has decided to be very chatty. So I'm coming up on the end of my chain here, in my first row. I want you to be really conscientious about this first row. It is very easy to make this too loose. Unfortunately, it really is easy to do that, and you just want to be mindful that you want to go ahead and tug down your oops, I split the yarn there. Just tug down your stitches a little bit, just so that you aren't too loose at the beginning here. Alright, so there we go. That's 12. Let's double check that number. So to count, we'll go back here. We skip that one because that's just the 13th chain of them that we didn't put a stitch into. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So we've done it right. The next 3 rows are just going to be a simple chain 1 and turn, and then single crochet into each stitch for a total of 12 stitches for each row. So I'm going to go ahead and chain 1, which you remember we just yarn over and pull through. That's your chain. Then I'm going to turn. A chain 1 is the same height as a single crochet. So now I'm going to single crochet my way back to the other end. So if you look at this top of the stitches, you're going to see little V's. The first little V is the chain 1 that we just did to turn our work, so we can go back in the other direction. So you're going to insert your hook into the next V that you see. You want to put your hook under both of those loops, and later that's going to become important. On row 5, you'll see why we need to know that there's the V, sorry, there's the V. You're going to insert your hook into the little hole right there that's under both of those loops, so under both loops of the V. So you're going to yarn over, just like we were doing before, yarn over and pull through 2, and that's a single crochet. We're going to go back to the beginning. So that's 1, that's 2, 3, sorry, I keep bumping that. I'll have to figure out a better way to hold this camera. 4, 5, sorry, 6. I just got a message from my husband. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think counting now is off there. Now, let's double check. Make sure I didn't screw up somewhere. I got distracted by random texts from my honey. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I went off on my counting. And you want to make sure that you catch that last one. It looks a little funky because that's where we put our first stitch going back from the base chain. But if you tug it a little bit with your fingernails, you actually should be able to find which loops. It also helps. You can use your hook to pull those out, which is what I usually do. Just so I can see it, I'm going to insert my hook under both of those as we have been doing. Insert the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. So there's rounds 1 and 2. And this is what you have, and don't be surprised if it starts to turn like that. It'll straighten out a little bit the farther along we go. So so you're going to just do the same thing for rows 2, or for rows 3 and 4, and I'll be right back. Alright, here's what it looks like after we've done 4 rows. By the way, we are making the walls of the TARDIS, and it actually starts at the door and wraps around to the other door. So we make a door, 3 walls, and then the other door. That's what we're doing. I forgot to mention that. The top and the base are actually separate pieces that we'll sew together at the end. So I am now on row number 5. And row number 5, rows number 5, 14, 23, and 32 are all going to be rather special. Okay, so because what we're trying to do is make this flat piece turn the corner. If I kept going for the full 36 rows that we need to make this, it would just be flat, and when you try to turn the corner, it wouldn't look nice, and it wouldn't have this nice little detail right there. If you look at a picture of the TARDIS, or you watch the TV show, you'll see that it's got nice corner pieces, and we're kind of trying to duplicate wood pieces out of yarn here. So to mimic those, we have to make some slight adjustments in how we do certain rows. So each section, each wall is 8 rows long, but and then the 2 doors are 4 rows long. We need to make those corners. So to build in a corner, we have to use the back loops or the front loops only. So for row number 5, we're going to turn our work to them, so we're going in the right direction. And we are going to work in the back loops only. So if you remember, I showed you the V there. I'm sorry, right there. There's a V. You got 1 loop in the front and 1 loop in the back. For row number 5, we need to work only in the back. So we're actually going to kind of go between the 2 legs of the V and under the back one. Do you see that? So insert your hook under the back loop. You're gonna, if you watch any of my other coming up videos, the Dalek, I think, and the Canine, they both use back loops only at certain points. So or front loops, depending on the part of the project. So if you're keeping up with this, you'll definitely need to know how to recognize the front loop and the back loop of the V of the stitch below. So insert your hook into the back loop, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. It's a regular single crochet, only done under, instead of both loops like this, we're going to be doing just in the back loop. So that's 1. So here's number 2, 3, 4, 5, oops, let's put the yarn there, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And that one's a little difficult to get to, but definitely get the back loop only again. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. So that's 12. Now, you can see this small ridge right here. That is actually the front loops of the 4th row that we did, and that's going to actually make it so we can turn a right angle. See here, I have it flat. You can actually kind of bend it down and make a nice perfect right angle turn. So that's row number 5. We're going to go back to regular, just single crochet under both loops for rows 6 through 13. So chain 1, row 6 will start here, and yarn over and insert your hook under both loops. Now back again, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. And you're going to go through that for rows 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. And I will be back with you when I get done with row 13. Alright, I've made it through row number 13, and like I said, each panel is made up of 8 rows, and the doors are made up of 4, and then you have the 5th row or the 9th row as our turning row. So I need to turn my project to keep going, but I also need to turn the corner again. Now last time I worked, because of the way I was going, I was turning from this way to work this way along my project here, and that meant I needed to use the back loops only because I'm going the other way. I need to turn the corner, not to turn backwards, but to turn forwards towards the inside, just like this, this turned towards the inside, this needs to turn towards the inside. So that means I need to work in the front loops this time instead of the back loops. Again, there's that V as the two legs of the V. This time I'm going to go under the front loop only, kind of split it with my fingers like that, insert my hook, and instead of going through both, I'm actually going to go through just under the front loop and between the two legs, which kind of sounds wrong, but a little bit wrong, but that's what I'm doing. So I've inserted my hook. I'm going to yarn over and draw up a loop, yarn over and draw through, or pull through two. Do it again, splitting the two legs of the V, yarn over and pull through two. And you're going to do that for the rest of row number 14. So you should have at the end of row 14, just like the end of every other row in this particular part of our project, you should have 12 stitches, 12 single crochets that you've done to complete this row. That was 8, 9, 10. And again, you'll see I'm going only under one of the front one of those, and you can actually use your hook to hook it around so you can get your hook through and not catch the back loops. So I'm going to yarn over and finish my single crochet there. Then I'm going to yarn over and chain one so we can turn again. So if you look, when you're using front loops only, the ridge isn't quite as protruding as back loops only. That's okay. It's still going to do what we need it to do, make it so that we can turn that 90-degree angle. So there's the if you look at it the right way, there's the first door. So we got the first door, then a side wall, and now we're working on the back wall. So just like we did before, we are going to make 8 rows of single crochet to form the back of the back wall of the TARDIS. That would be rows 15 through 22. And I will meet back up with you once I have row number 22 done. I'll be right back. Alright, I've now finished row 22, and I'm ready to turn and go back the other way. So as I've been doing, I'm going to turn and go back, but row 22 is the same as row 5 below. Sorry, the 5 that we've done before. You're going to work in the back loops only again so that we can turn the corner. So far we have the door, the first wall, and then the back wall. So on our mock-up here we have the first door, a side wall, and the back. So we need to turn the corner again, and the only way to do that is to do either back loops or front loops only. In this case we need to turn down this way instead of this way, so we need to use back loops only. So we're going to yarn over, insert the hook as I showed you before between the two legs and under the back loop of that V. Okay, so there's the V. Insert your hook under, like just the back loop only. Yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull through two. You're going to do that all the way across for row number 23. So just as you did with row number 5, we're going to do it again with row 23. And then when we get to row number 32, row number 32, we're going to be doing the front loops only like we did with row number 14. So make your way across using the back loops only. And try not to split the yarn like I just tried to do. And don't forget that there is another stitch at the end. If you don't have 12, then you need to make sure you have 12. So do one more stitch, yarn over, pull up the loop, yarn over and pull through 2, and then chain 1 so we can turn. So we now have that turn, and the beginning of that turn. So we're going to be making, so we've got one wall, the side, the back, and now we're making the last side wall. And we're going to make another 8 rows of just plain simple single crochet where you go under both loops. You're going to do that for 8 rows more. So rows 24 through 31, and I'll be back when I get that done. Alright, I just finished row number 31, and I'm ready to turn the corner and go back the other way. So I've chained 1, and got my yarn twisted around there. Chain 1, and now I'm going to turn, and we need to turn the corner again because we've done the door, a sidewall, a back, and a sidewall, and we need to turn the corner so we can finish the last door. So we can turn the corner, we're going to need to work in either the front loops or the back loops. In this case, our last panel turned this way, so we need to go this way off of it. So we're going to be working in the front loops only like we did with row number 14. We're going to do it now with row number 31. So insert your hook under the first loop of the V and between the loop 1 and 2, just like we did before. Yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. And you're going to do that for all the stitches across the row in the front loops only. 3. It's a good idea just every row or 2 to go ahead and count as you do them, or count them at the end to make sure you still have 12. And you still have the proper number of stitches. In this case it is 12. I lost count, so I'll just count them at the end. I think this is number 7. My apologies for my dishwasher there. It's going to be making some racket now that it's starting to drain and rinse. There we go. And now it turns the corner the way it's supposed to. And we're ready to make the final door panel. That's going to be rows 12 through 36. And this is what we have so far. So we just need to fill in that little gap there. So just chain 1 and turn. Chain 1 and turn. And under both loops, like we've been doing, go ahead and do single crochets all the way for the next 4 rows. And I'll meet you when I'm back at the end. Alright, I just finished row number 36. And now I can fasten off. So instead of chaining 1 and turning, I'm just going to chain 1, and then I'm going to cut my thread, and I'm actually going to leave a fairly long tail because we'll be using this tail. Oops, we'll be using this tail to do the sewing when we sew on either the top or the bottom here, the base or the top there. So just pull it all the way through, and that'll fasten it off quite nicely. And here's your finished walls section. Well, finished minus the embroidery that we need to do details. So here's what it looks like when you kind of fold it up. And it sits like this. So you got the 4 walls and the 2 doors. You can work our tail thread, the beginning tail thread into your work now, or you can wait until later. It doesn't really matter when you do it. If you're going to be making this as a stuffy rather than one with open doors, what you would do is you would just do 4 panels that were all you would just sew this up. I'm sorry, you don't want to make 4 identical patterns because then it won't look like you have a door. You want it to look like you have a door, so you would use your thread to just ladder stitch between the 2, and or you could single crochet the two ends together. That's up to you. Both will be in my pattern, the written pattern, so you can decide how you want to take care of that. So that's the walls done, and we'll get started on the next part. All right, I finished the walls and doors of the TARDIS. So now we're going to do the top. And the top consists of 4 rows of continuous spiral in a circle until we get to the 5th row, where we'll add in our corners and make it into a square. Okay, so let's begin. We're going to need to make a magic circle. To do so, you're going to pinch your tail end between your thumb and your first finger. Wrap the yarn over your 2 fingers, under your 2 fingers, over again, and over the first string the first loop we have. So make an X. Insert your hook under the first string, and with the hook facing towards your fingers, grab a hold of the top string, pull it under and out, and twist it. And then you'll yarn. Then you'll grab the working yarn underneath and pull through. Okay. There's a lot of tutorials out there that, including my own basics for beginners, that show magic circle just in more depth. If you need more help, definitely check that out. It'll be up in the cards or down in the description for the basics for beginners video. So check that out if you need to. So now that we have our magic circle or magic ring, depending on what you want to call it, we're going to leave this loop just a little loose. Normally I crochet fairly tightly, but in this case you want the first one to be fairly loose. So you're going to single crochet into the loop, or into the circle, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. Just like we were doing with the body of the TARDIS, the walls and the door, we're going to be doing the same single crochet stitch with this. The only difference is that we're going to be making rounds instead of rows. So we need 8 of those total. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then we're going to cinch down the circle just a little bit. Don't pull it all the way tight, because that makes the first stitch kind of disappear. It's hard to find it again. We'll cinch it down when we're done. So instead of slip stitching to join, we're actually going to work in a continuous spiral. So what you need to do is you go under both loops of the first stitch, like that. And that's why we made it really loose, because it gets tighter as you pull on that thread tail, making it hard to find. Anyway, so insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. That makes the first single crochet of the second round. Now we actually need to put 2 into that same stitch and 2 into every stitch as we go around. At this point you may want to add a yarn marker so you can see where the round ends, and I'll actually get a piece of white yarn, not because I really need it. I tend to count all my stitches and can just kind of follow along, but it's definitely helpful for new stitchers to go ahead and use one. So I have my first stitch. I'm going to go into the same stitch and put another single crochet. So yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. And I'm going to do that for every stitch in this row or round, and I'll meet you back at the beginning. Alright, I'm in the last stitch of the first round. So I just put in 13 and 14 into this one, so 15 and 16. And that's the end of round number 2. At this point I'm going to add my stitch marker. And you notice I still have the big gaping hole. Leave that there. There's no reason to worry about it at the moment. So round number 3 is also an increasing round, and as is 4 and 5. So round number 3, we're going to put 1 single crochet into the first stitch. Sorry, into this stitch. Okay, yarn over and pull through 2. And then I'm going to put 2 single crochets into the next one, and we are still going under both loops. Okay, so 1 and 2. So we now have 3 stitches where we had 2 before. Okay, random cat hair. The next one's going to be a single crochet into that stitch, and then the next one will be 2. So 1 and 2. So now we have 6. And we're going to repeat that pattern of 1, then 2, 1, then 2, all the way around until we have a total of 24 stitches. I'll meet you back when I'm at the end. Alright, I'm putting in the last stitch of that round, so stitch number 24. And now we're ready to begin round number 4. Move my stitch marker up 1. Insert your hook. This is also an increasing round, and the pattern for this is 1, 1, 2. So in the first stitch you're going to put 1 single crochet. In the second stitch you're going to put a single crochet, and in the third one we're going to put 2 single crochet. So 1 and 2. So where we had 3 stitches, we now have 4. We're going to repeat that all the way around. So 1 and 1 and 2. And then you're going to repeat that all the way around until you have 32 stitches. And I'll meet back with you when I have that done. Alright, I'm putting the last stitch into round number 4. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. And I'm ready to do round number 5. Round number 5 is where we take a circle and turn it into a square. Move my yarn marker up. To do that, we have to add in some corners. So the first thing we need to do is add a side. We're going to single crochet into the first 7. Not catching your stitch marker like I tried to. So into the first 7 stitches, you're going to put a single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, 5. I was getting my yarn caught there. 6 and 7. Now we need to add our corner. Our corner is going to be a single crochet into that stitch, the next stitch, a half or a double crochet. To do that, you're going to yarn over first, then insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop. Now you have 3. Yarn over and pull through for the first 2 loops, then yarn over again and pull into the next 2 loops. Let's do that again. We need another double crochet in there. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So now we have a single crochet, 2 double crochets, and we need to finish the corner. Finish it, we use just a single crochet and finish it off. So now we have a corner. We're going to repeat that again 3 more times, adding a corner there, there, and then at the first or the last stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then make your corner a single crochet, a double crochet, a double crochet, and another single. Now I know what you're thinking. That doesn't look really straight. You're right, it doesn't. It bows out just a little right here where this the increases from the circles, and we actually kind of want that because it's going to help form that nice pyramid shape without actually really having to work to make the pyramid shape. The structure underneath is actually going to push that in the right direction and make it, the mesh structure will actually make it form that nice pyramid sort of shape there, and you can see, without actually having to work very hard to get it. So we finished the second corner, so let's make the next side. So single crochet in the next 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then do your corner. So a single crochet, a double crochet, another double crochet, and a single crochet. And that makes your third corner. Now we need to make our last side, so 7 times again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now we need to make our final corner. Insert your hook into the next stitch and make a single crochet. Oh, I need to get some more yarn. Hold on. There you go. Single, a double, a double, and one more single. And that brings us to the end of round number 5. Now, we're going to stop working in a spiral and start working with slip stitches at the end. So we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch that we made to finish this off. When you tighten this up, you'll see that it's kind of starting to form that nice pyramid shape. And it actually look a lot better once it's stretched over the form. Okay, at this point we don't need our stitch marker anymore because we'll be slip stitching the rest of this at the end of each round. So we don't need our stitch marker anymore. But now we need to turn the corner. So here's where we are, right here. So we need to come down now. And to do that, again, we will be using, using the back loops only. So chain 1 to step up. And I pulled that down a little too tight, but that's okay. You're going to insert your hook into the back loop of the first stitch. And this is going to be a little difficult because you have slip stitched into that, but just kind of force it, okay? So, easiest way is just to hook it. You're going to go ahead and do a single crochet in the back loop. So yarn over and pull up the loop, yarn over and pull through 2. You're going to use the back loops all the way around. When you get to the corner, we're actually going to single crochet 2 together, and I'll show you what that means in just a minute. So go ahead and single crochet in the what is it, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 in the first 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're going to do 2 together. This is to make so that the corner actually sucks in a little bit, making the top corner protrude out just a little bit more. Okay, so to do that, you're going to still work in the back loops only, hook the back loop of the first stitch, and then swing around and hook the back loop of the second stitch. Yarn over and pull up that loop. So it's actually going through the back loops of the next 2 stitches. Yarn over and finish off the single crochet. We're going to do that again. So find the back loop of the next stitch and hook it. And then the back loop of the next stitch and hook it. Like that. Yarn over and pull through both of those. And then finish the single crochet. Then you're going to do 7 more single crochets in the back loop for the next side. And this is going to start to cup downwards. We're forcing it to. Yarn over, pull the loop and pull through 2. Hooking the back loops only. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 'By the way, here's where you would change your colors and work in black if you're trying to do like this one. You do the corners in blue and the sides in black. I'm actually going to be doing this version where the sign sits on top. Okay, and just in case you're wondering, that's how you do it. Do your corners in blue and carry the blue along as you do the black. Carry the black around the corner, underneath the blue, to make the sign if you want to do it as part of the work instead of sitting on top of the work. Okay, so we're at the corner again, so we need to do single crochet 2 together. That's SE2 TOG as in the pattern if you're following that. Hook the back loop of the first stitch, hook the back loop of the second stitch. Make sure I got that. Go. Yarn over and pull through the 2. So you now have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through 2. Do it again. Yarn over, or hook the back loop of the first stitch, back loop of the second stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through 2. There we go. Then we're going to single crochet 7 again. Back loops only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, don't split your yarns, and 7. Make another corner by single crochet 2 together, back loop, yarn over and pull up 1, yarn over and pull through 2. Once again, back loop, yarn over, pull through the 2, yarn over and pull through the 2 loops on your hook. Go. Last side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And 2 together, 1 and 2. Yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Do it again. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. And now we're back at the beginning, and we can slip stitch to join the end to the beginning. And I'm actually going under both loops. We don't need to do back loops anymore. Slip stitch to join, and now you have the beginning of the part that comes down, just like that. Okay. Round 7 is going to be a single crochet in each stitch all the way around for a total. So round number 5, I don't think I said, had 44 stitches, but we're going round 6 only had 32. So round 7 and 8 will have 32 as well. So 7 is going to be single crochets in each stitch. It's a single crochet in each stitch all the way around. So chain 1 to step up, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. And you'll do that all the way around till you get back to the beginning, and I'll be right back. Alright, on my last stitch of that round, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, and slip stitch to join. Now, the length that we need is not actually 3 full single crochet tall. It's actually 2.5. So, to achieve that, we're going to slip stitch in every stitch all the way around. So, chain 1 and pull that nice and tight. It doesn't have to be very tall at all. And into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up your loop, and pull that loop through the first loop, just like that. If you're good, you can do that in all one motion. I'm not that good. I always have to stop in the middle and then pull through. And this is actually going to make a little bit of a ridge, because this is actually sitting this way instead of this way, which is good. It's actually going to be helpful. When we put in the little sign, the sign is going to sit between that ridge and that ridge. So go ahead and slip stitch all the way back to the beginning. I'll be right back. Alright, I've made it back. I'm on my last stitch. And now I need to slip stitch to join. And this tends to be difficult to get your hook under, but just kind of keep at it until you can stick your hook in there. It's still split. There we go. And join. And this is what we have. Go ahead and cut your strings, leaving a nice tail. One that'll go all the way around, plus some, usually like about 2 times around. There we go. And fasten off. Okay. We'll make that neat when we attach. And it's at this point that I like to make my hook or my hanger. This piece you can work back into the thing, but with the frame there, I'm not worried it's going to pull out. So to make my hook, I'm going to take, oops, sorry. I was doing so good not bumping the thing. I'm going to take a piece of string or yarn here that is a good length, and I'm going to attach my yarn needle or tapestry needle like that, and I'm going to, this is where I ended, so I definitely want that towards the back to make this sit so that the doors are to the front on the Christmas tree hanging from the tree. I'm going to orient it so that here's where the end and beginning is of my top there. So I want to orient this. That's towards the back, that's towards the front. So I want to go and make my hanger go from this side to this side. Okay, so I'm going to go in that very beginning magic circle. Gee, I'm doing great with the banging of the camera stand, aren't I? I'm going to put this approximately in the middle. Doesn't have to be perfect. Then I'm going to come over to this side. So I have the end tail here, the working tail here with the needle on it. And I'm going to come out right there. Wiggle it down. And then I need to decide approximately how long I think I need my hook, my loop to be to go over the branch of my Christmas tree. And that looks pretty good. So I'm going to pinch that so I don't pull it too far. And I'm going to go, it's coming out right there. I'm going to go back just a little bit to catch like that. Pull it down. And I'm going to tuck that loop straight through the bottom, just like that. And then I'm going to work that tail throughout the piece. Until I think it's secure and won't pull back out. So just kind of follow along. You can tie knots in this if you want. I don't think it's completely necessary. If you just sort of follow enough lines and tuck it in. And that looks pretty good to me. So I can actually cut that tail off. You don't need it. And going back to the top there, I did not pull that as hard as I needed to. There we go. And I can barely see where I've been. That's good. So there's the loop. I'm going to thread my needle with the other side of my hanger. And now, here's the first loop. I'm going to make a second loop, but first I want to go around and around like this, wrapping it. Or dropping it. Wrapping that yarn, the first yarn loop with the second yarn with the needle on it. Until I have something that looks like that. And then when I get to the end, I'm going to go, see how I started here on that side, and there's the loop. I'm going to do the same by going on this side to make them look even. There we go. Just like that. Hook it, and then go ahead and push your needle to the underside, just like that, and secure it like you did the first one, just going around and following however you want. This is where a good pair of pliers might help. Get a hold of that needle. It's a slippery little devil. Make sure you pulled it on the other side. Like I said, you could tie knots in this if you want, if you're worried about it. Can't say that I am. Pull it like that. And then snip it off. And that makes the top. And there it is. Back to do the base.